Hello, my name is Megan Kennedy, and I will be talking to you about Arizona's analyzing Arizona's language development approach. So, for the state of Arizona, the definition of ELL student is defined as EL students are those whose native language is not English and who have difficulty reading, writing, speaking, or comprehending English such that it limits success in the classroom. The differences between instructional programs for ELL students. There's actually four different type of different instructional programs. The first one is going to be the ESL model, a program of techniques, that methods, and curriculum for EEL students, including speaking, listening, reading, writing, etc. Another program for instructional programs for EEL students is bilingual. So instruction is taught in native language and English. Interactions, activities, lessons are taught in both languages inside of the classroom. So when it comes to bilingual, they are being taught in their native language, which sometimes in my personal experience is going to be Spanish and English. So all of the interactions, activities, lessons are being taught in both languages while being inside the classroom. Another instructional program for EEL students is sheltered English instruction, the instructional approach used to teach instruction in English to EEL students. Teachers use physical activities, visual aids, and the classroom to teach vocabulary. So this method might be done through having visual aids, like I stated, such as having posters, cue cards, and using the classroom to teach vocabulary. So that might include having certain objects labeled, such as the tables that the students sit at. Might be table in English and then la mesa in Spanish, if that is the language of the students in the classroom. The last instructional program for EEL students is the Structured English Immersion, also known as SEI. All instruction is in an immersive strategy program in English, and teachers have been trained in this type of model and bilingual education. So Arizona's language development approach, there are four different principles. The four different principles are asset-based behaviors and expectations, assessment monitoring and feedback, integrated instruction and disciplinary language and content, and targeted and explicit language instruction. Using these four principles allows English language students to feel confident, determined, and they feel a sense of urgency from their teachers as they are helping them. So the census of the research for EEL students is that it was founded that the importance of a strong foundation in native language instruction for EEL student success, discovered that the need for research-based instructional strategies benefited ELL students, having important language use along with integrating bilingual instruction. Student agency and its importance in the instruction of ELLs. So this has to do with noticing the gap between ELL students and non-EEL students. That is the teacher taking the time to figure out what students need more help since they are EEL and getting them those helps and services, and then students who are non-ELL students. Setting realistic goals for the students. So sitting down with the students and figuring out what they really need help with and making those realistic goals, because we want our students to succeed and feel confident. Something else is feedback. So by providing the students with positive feedback on how they are doing, and then also constructive feedback, never negative feedback, constructive feedback. So helping them learn this language is very difficult as a child. It's difficult to learn a new language as an adult, but to be just thrown into a classroom and expected to learn a new language is extremely difficult. So we want to make sure that we are giving them that very positive feedback, but also helping them by giving them the constructive feedback to help build, such as if a student is understanding receptive English but not using expressive English, just asking them to say, just you talking to them because they understand the English, but they're not expressing English, you asking them like, oh, can you tell me what this is in English? And if they don't know, you can say, la mesa es table in Inglés. And lastly, but not least, is contributing to others' thoughts. So a way to help build confidence in the students would be to have them talking to one another into really building those EEL skills through conversation with peers. The 4 principles of Arizona's language development. So I talked about those earlier, but really breaking those down. Assets-based behaviors and expectations. EEL students bring in linguistic resources and cultural knowledge to the classroom. Programs should be used to provide students the chance to show their understanding. And then for assessment, monitoring, and feedback, use state English proficiency standards, diagnostic tools, and assessments to measure the progress of EEL students. When it comes to the integrated instruction and disciplinary language and content, teachers use content standards to plan their instructions. And last but not least, when it comes to targeted and explicit language instruction, allowing for opportunities for language to be spoken or read in the classroom, while also encouraging critical thinking and problem solving. Arizona's approved research-based SEI models, which are newcomer, pull-out, 2-hour, and 50-50 dual language immersion. When it comes to the newcomer, the students have 100 days of ELD time. So this is 100 minutes a day of English language development time. The pull-out model would be that students are pulled out of their classroom for a scheduled amount of the day to learn in a different course with a different language. The 2-hour model is students receive 50 hours, 50% of instruction in English and 50% in ELD language. When it comes to the 50-50 dual language immersion, the second language is used in the classroom for all of the students to be learning at the same time.